Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to Incredible Journeys, Brands and Leaders, a special series that puts the spotlight on some of India's best-known brands and brings you exclusive conversations with their leaders. On the show today, we are exploring a 6-year-old company that aims to make every Indian healthy through its water purification technologies. We are featuring one of India's fastest-growing RO brands, Livpure. Launched in the year 2010, Livpure has shifted the paradigm in the water purifier industry. As part of the SAR group, Livpure is the brainchild of a crack team of technocrats and experienced professionals. The company is on a mission with its core focus areas being water treatment, water purification and complete water management solutions for households as well as corporate organizations. With a clear aim to meet the ever-rising demand of safe drinking water, Livpure has established new benchmarks in water purification technology, making it one of the most trusted manufacturers of water purifiers in India. And now I'm in conversation with the founder of Livpure, Rakesh Malhotra. Welcome to the show, Rakesh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're a serial entrepreneur. You've had many successful businesses and some not so successful ones as well.
That is right.
The best known one is, of course, Luminous Power Technologies that you started in the late 1980s and then finally sold off to Schneider Electric a couple of years ago. That was 2011. 2012, you decided to start all over again with Livpure. So what was that thought process like and why the focus on water purification and air purification at this point in time?
Sure. So we have always been focusing on pain points in consumer life as an opportunity to build businesses to solve them. This is one of our core strategies all along. And that's how Luminous also got built, because it was solving a problem of power outages in consumer life. And then when we did that exit, actually it was a partial exit, we sold 74% in 2011.
Yes.
And thereafter we had time on hand because the management got transferred to the new leadership.
Correct.
And we were looking around to what next problem to solve. So the problem that we came across was the problem of pure water and clean air.
Right.
So we started with water in 2012 and we decided that it had to be made affordable, made reliable and made smart. These three pieces of values had to be built into the offer that we came up with, and that's how Livpure was born.
Right.
And from there the journey has been exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
And today your RO brand is number 3 in the market as far as...
That's right.
So what makes it different and why did you enter this competitive segment? There were already a couple of players here. What made you want to get into that particular product segment and what makes Livpure different from the rest?
Sure. So see, look, yes, there were very well established large players in the market, people with more than 35, 40 years of existence. But what we also saw was that there is only a 7 to 8% penetration of ROs in Indian households. So at that level, even though the awareness about water quality was high, the adoption of RO water purifiers wasn't that high or isn't that high even today. It has improved, but it is nowhere close to...
The market opportunity
the market opportunity was immense. And of course, it is a hard grind when you are entering at a very late stage.
Yes.
And you have to compete against established players. So you need to differentiate yourself well, and which is where we focused. And second part of your question was about what is different about Livpure. So I think that's exactly where we put our focus on. So when Livpure was born, we decided that we will leverage smart, which is something that is contemporary today because of the emerging technologies that are coming along. That's the horizon that we are living in right now.
Yeah.
So we decided that we'll leverage smart to deliver, reliable and efficient products.
So today, what is the most innovative product that you have from the Livpure stable, and how do you really build the culture of innovation within the organization?
Right. So I think the second part of the process is the more intricate one. What is most innovative? I think, we have a product called Smart Touch, which is a water purifier which is enabled with all these smart features, including being able to tell the service center about when it needs a filter change, when it needs service, when it needs any kind of attention.
Correct.
All of those features are part of that. Then it of course has other purity related features like mineralizer to remineralize the water as needed, purification prior to dispensing the water one more time, last time before the stored water is delivered. So all of those are benefits of that product. But I think the culture of innovation is a far more deeply ingrained organizational issue. So I think that comes more or less from the way the employees of your organization and the team is aligned to your overall vision and mission. So I think the whole culture of innovation is coming through encouragement to try new things.
Right.
And encouragement, even if you are going to fail, that's not seen as a stigma. That's seen more or less as a feather in your cap, because you at least try and do something new and try to break the boundaries. And I think that's how innovation is born. It's part of the way you live your daily life in a company.
Let's talk a little bit about the competition in this segment as well. How stiff are the price wars? What is your pricing strategy like? Who's your target clientele?
So see, at this stage, it's not so much about price war as it is about brand war. I think everyone realizes, especially the incumbent leaders that have been there for a long time, realize that there is little to gain out of going through a price war. The real issue here is getting the right distribution, making sure that your service capabilities are up to date, building deep reliability into the product through deep integration in terms of manufacturing and design.
Right.
So I think those are the competitive levers in this business besides the brand.
Absolutely.
And I think the incumbents get a lead on the brand recognition to begin with.
Correct.
And that's the war we are fighting. The rest of it, I think we are already, we have crossed that hump. We have a decent distribution. We have.
So how big is your distribution footprint today?
Well, today we are present in about 14,000 outlets across India, and through a network of around 450 distributors. And we have direct service available from the company in about 800 cities. We already have one of the most well-integrated manufacturing facilities in the country in this business. We have all of the processes, right from rolling of the membranes to making sure that the edible grade plastics are processed for the body inside the plant,
Right.
To pumps, to all kinds of key components.
Are you also leveraging emerging technologies on your workflows? Are these connected workflows?
Yes, they are. We have SAP HANA implemented at our place. So it's fully ERP implemented. The entire service and sales force is fully field enabled through apps and central control. So all of those things we have leveraged. I think the battle that we are now building ourselves up on is creating the familiarity and the brand resonance over a period. In the last 1 to 2 years, we have been fairly successful at doing that. Especially our online presence of the brand has become very, very strong. And we've done some very interesting initiatives which have won a lot of creative recognition as well. We got selected for as an entry for the Cannes as well.
Staying true to the company's belief, Livpure's out-of-the-box marketing campaigns aim to successfully foster a strong ethic of water conservation, dipping into cultural heritage and inspiring behavioral change for common good.
As a brand, we have consistently focused on through the ATL and the BTL medium to talk about our core value proposition of 100% Sampurna Aro Suraksha, and use the digital space to communicate what's good for India. So the first campaign, called Finish Your Glass, talked about consuming water, because most Indians don't finish a glass of water. The second campaign, Cutting Pani, talked about in restaurants and boardrooms and homes, serving as much as you need. And the third campaign, which was Rivers in a Bottle, talked about India's state of rivers, and we leveraged on Sadhguru's campaign in a big way through activations across various malls in India. So trying to make the brand talk and take up larger issues, look far more holistic than just about selling water.
You also roped in Sachin Tendulkar as your brand ambassador. What
We
sort of an
did.
impact? I'm sure the youth, you know, perhaps because it is a young country and the demographic of India is as such that Sachin Tendulkar is a popular icon to have.
Well, I mean,
But-
he's an icon to everyone.
yes, of course.
And,
But what's the impact that it has had on your brand?
Sure. So you know, he's been with the brand Livpure from the day one. Whole personality of the brand Livpure very well gels with what Sachin's personality is. It is being purposeful. It is being you know, committed. It is being disciplined, dependable. All of those are you know, the basic tenets of the brand, and they are very much depicted. That is, which is why also it gels very well.
And the association has continued post his retirement and
Oh yeah,
everything.
very much, very much. I think he's
no new
an
brand
integral-
ambassadors coming on board.
No, definitely not right now.
Okay, wonderful. On that note, we are going to take a short break right here, but the conversation continues with the founder of Livpure, Rakesh Malhotra, on the other side of this break. You are watching our special series, Incredible Journeys, Brands and Leaders. Welcome back to Incredible Journeys, Brands and Leaders. On the show today, we are exploring the journey of one of India's fastest growing RO brands, Livpure, and I'm in conversation with the founder of the company, Rakesh Malhotra. Rakesh, one of the common complaints with consumer durables is the after sales service.
Sure.
So at Livpure, how do you ensure that there's consistency and quick, timely action on consumer complaints?
Unlike many of the other brands, we did not outsource service to begin with.
Okay.
We did not go the franchise route. We decided to build
All your services in-house?
in-house service is what we decided to build, because to control the experience, unless your processes and unless your KPIs are very matured, franchising out is very difficult to then maintain quality of service. We did start franchising a little bit as an augmenting process after 3-4 years of operation. But even now, let's say about 80%, 75 to 80% of our service fulfillment is still in-house. So it's a gradual process. We are making a controlled you know, expansion through franchising, but it's done at a pace at which we can ensure the consistency of service availability through a franchise network. So we also invested very heavily on IT and processes right in the beginning. So every one of our service technicians is fully connected with our service system. Then there is an escalation management process that we have put in place, which ensures that nothing really gets, you know, overlooked. And that's not to say that we don't ever have a problem, but I think we've done pretty good on that. In fact, that has rubbed very positively on the brand. And one of the reasons why we got the success that we did was the service capability of the company.
Right, okay. And innovation is at the core of Livpure.
Sure.
How significantly do you invest in research and development? What's the sort of investment that you're making there currently? And are you planning to expand that wing in the near future?
Right. So see, innovation is in every aspect of the business. It's not just in the product. And so therefore the investment also is in every aspect of the business. We are currently spending close to about 7 to 8% of sales on the R&D spends. So innovation on product, innovation on business model, and innovation on service and fulfillment are the three areas where the big focus is.
Right.
Are we going to expand that? Yes, for sure. I mean, this we see as a core differentiator for the brand Livpure. So innovation is something which will continue to receive the highest amount of focus from in terms of resources from the company.
Right. And you're someone who's been in the business for about 3 decades now. You've seen different generations of businesses coming and going. 2 questions to you. One, on the technology front, how do you keep pace with technology personally? Because IoT, artificial intelligence, is something that of course was not there back in the 80s when you started out. And 2, do you feel the business environment is any better today than it was, say, over the last few decades? I'm sure it's better, but what more do you want here?
Well, I mean, so yes, of course, it's very different. Back in the day, you know, there was no availability of outside capital. There was, you know, banks wouldn't lend. There are plenty of, you know, early stage obstacles that businesses had to face in the 80s and the 90s. But I think that has changed for the better a whole lot. I mean, today the dynamism is very high, but so is competitiveness.
Correct.
So I think both of those things go hand in hand. So the increased availability of resources and improved environment has led to also a very high adoption of entrepreneurship, which in my view is very good for the country. I think one of the best things happening to us as a country is we are becoming a startup nation, and a real one. You know, where people are not afraid to take chances, not afraid to take risks, which is unleashing a very different kind of energy in the country. So I think that's very, very good, very positive.
And personally, how do you keep pace with technology? You're right at the top leading the organization, so I'm sure you're keeping pace with IoT and AI and ML.
See, I'm not sure I'm able to actually keep pace with everything that's going around. I think the way we deal with this is, and that's what I have been doing all my life, is to put together teams of smart people, and they take care of what you don't know better than you could if you tried to learn everything by yourself. But in the process of dealing with smart people, you get to learn, right? So I think that
smart people lead to smart ROs.
Smart people lead to smart ROs and smart entrepreneurs, both ways. You know, they teach you.
But you also have a startup-focused fund. What is that all about, and what sort of startups are you focusing on and incubating?
Sure. So we have a fund called Incubate Capital Partners, which is very clearly focused on seed stage partnership with entrepreneurs. So we look at companies where even before they are formed. So an entrepreneur could walk up to us with a really good plan. Typically, we go with very seasoned, you know, individuals who have some background. They may not have already started their companies, but they come with certain amount of experience, certain amount of background in the area in which they are trying to operate.
Any acquisitions on the anvil?
From Livpure, no, not yet. We are.
But is that a strategy you'd consider?
We would definitely consider. We would definitely consider. But I think at this stage, there is so much of greenfield opportunity available to grow that acquisition and its related distractions can be avoided. Right. Because there's just so much headroom to grow right now. I mean, we are still not in even all segments of consumer water purification. Right. We have all of that to cover. Correct. There's a huge amount of scope in the country itself, and then there are export markets which we are familiar with. We have started some exports, yes.
And is there a plan to expand manufacturing capabilities? What's your current production capacity?
So I think we have a fairly large capacity. We've invested up, you know, front-ended on the production capabilities, essentially to make sure that we have tight control on quality.
Are you operating at full capacity?
No, we are not. We are probably at about 35–40% utilization. So we have a lot of headroom to grow. Right. But you know, in these businesses, the big investments are not in manufacturing. They are in building out the distribution, in building out the service, the brand, the R&D and product development. Manufacturing is relatively a lower investment in this business.
Right. And speaking of brand, what would you say are the core 2 or 3 pillars that brand Livpure stands on?
Smart, reliable, serviced.
Okay. Yeah. And finally, what's your vision, your long-term vision for Livpure? Where do you want to see it in the next couple of years?
We want to see Livpure become the center of purity, health and wellness for Indian consumer.
Only Indian consumers or global consumers?
To start with, Indian consumers. Right now, our sights are fixed on the 1.3 billion Indians.
Okay.
We will get to the rest as we cross that hump.
Okay. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Malhotra.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, with that, it's a wrap of this episode of Incredible Journeys, Brands and Leaders. We'll be back next time with yet another inspiring tale of business success. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.